Ma'am? Radhika ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am, Radhika ma'am? Ma'am, mute करके ma'am.
Dear colleagues, hello. Can you
Yes,
can you see
yes,
me?
sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, great. Everything works?
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
Yeah, all is fine.
Super,
It's,
sir.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
still morning here.
Yeah, it's afternoon here, sir. It's afternoon 1:30 here. It's pleasure to see you today, sir.
Yeah, it's pleasure to meet you as well. It's my first day after my summer holiday.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's 10 a.m., 10 o'clock in the morning here.
Afternoon, sir.
So I see people are joining, yes, in the waiting room. 57 members.
Sir, actually, we have not enabled the waiting room, so that when they enter into the meeting itself, they will join the main room itself. So that the meeting room is not enabled as such as of right now.
Sir, breakout room போட்டிருக்கீங்களா?
Yes, ma'am. I have created breakout room. Shall I assign you and our resource person, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Ruby ma'am is there. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, Ruby.
Co-host. Yes, Ruby ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Radhika ma'am.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I think Kalyani is also joined.
Oh.
So I got an invitation to room 1, so I'm moving there, right?
Yes, sir. Ma'am, you can also move. I have assigned, ma'am.
Good afternoon, GN sir. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Sir, anybody else is there? What about Radhika, ma'am?
Radhika, ma'am, and the resource persons are in breakout room, ma'am.
Okay, sir. So you
Shall I assign you, ma'am? Shall I assign you to there, or you'll be here?
I'll stay here, sir. No problem, sir. I'll stay here. You
Okay,
just give me intimate me when they finish it. I'll have to start the session. That's all.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'll
sure,
wait, sir. Okay.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Thank
okay,
you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Sunita, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sunita, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Ma'am, Sunita ma'am, you like to stay here or shall I assign you to the breakout room, ma'am?
Okay, you can assign me there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will assign you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have assigned, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
GN sir, are you there? GN sir? GN sir, can you hear me? GN sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, is our principal joining the session or is he giving any?
Ma'am, actually, I hear that sir is in college, but I don't know whether he has reached his home or not, ma'am.
Okay, sir. But Radhi ma'am told to just ask me to just initiate the day 2, and Radhi ma'am will introduce the resource person, the first resource person.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, sir. You just tell me when everything is okay, sir.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, correct, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, actually, Radhika ma'am has called me, ma'am. They are
Okay.
quitting the breakout room and they are rejoining here, ma'am.
Okay.
So we will start in few minutes, few seconds, ma'am.
Okay, sir. I'm waiting, sir. I'm ready.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. GN, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Hello.
yeah, we can start, ma'am. Everyone is ready, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome all the participants for the day 2 of this international webinar on effective research writing and scholarly publishing under UGC STRIDE scheme. Hope you were enriched with yesterday's erudite and scholarly resourceful sessions delivered by the Elsevier team. May I now request Dr. D. Radhika, Coordinator Stride, Head and Associate Professor of Zoology, VO Chidambaram College, Thuthukudi, to take over the session. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everybody. And VO Chidambaram College welcomes you all to the second day of the international webinar on scholarly writing. And yesterday we had a very good interaction from the participants and got to know a lot about research from the three great resource persons we had. So today we have yet another two great persons going to talk with us about publishing. And the first speaker of today, we have with us Andrei Mikhailov from Elsevier Solutions from Russia. So welcome, sir. On behalf of VO Chidambaram College, I welcome you, sir, to this international webinar. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Hello. I hope you can see me and hear me well. I will share my screen now.
Just a minute, sir. I'll just give a short introduction about you.
Yes,
Andrei,
please.
Yeah. Andrei Mikhailov is responsible for Elsevier partnership programs in Russia and Eastern Europe. Before joining Elsevier in 2019, Andrei had worked in academia for over a decade in research and administrative roles. He supports academic institutions and corporate sector in achieving research excellence with the help of Elsevier Solutions. So I think he's given us enough time so we could make best use of his resources, what he's going to offer for our research scholars from our college, as well as those who have logged in from throughout India. Welcome, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. So I will share my screen now.
Yes, sir.
And can you please let me know if you can see it?
Yes, sir. It's quite visible.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So, dear colleagues, you can call me Andrei when you'll be asking questions. So, we are going to talk about trends in scholarly publishing. So, I have outlined numerous important trends that are taking place nowadays. And we'll start from the first one. And the first trend is on using smart tools for research landscape outlook. So nowadays, as you can see, there is a significant boom in the number of publications out there in the world. So every day, if we use Scopus, the largest abstract database in the world, and if you see that every year there are more than 3.5 million publications are being published and indexed in Scopus. And if we see the rise of the number of publications starting from the 21st century, starting from the year 2000, there are more publications indexed starting from the year 2000 than in all the previous years. Taking into account the Scopus, for example, indexes publications starting from 19th century. So this significant increase in the number of publications means that each researcher needs to use specific dedicated tools in order to analyze the publications, the research output that is taking place throughout the globe. And this is especially important for researchers, for academics, since there is no local science. So there is no scientific novelty for India, or there is not only scientific novelty for your university. It is either something new and something novel for science overall throughout the globe, or it is already being discovered by somebody, and you have to find out about it and discover whether this topic that you're deciding to make your research on, whether this topic is new, whether this hypothesis is really new and it is not being set and it is not being discovered and proven by somebody else in the world. That is why you have to use some reference abstract databases, such as, for example, Scopus. And of course, it is easy to use. So you go to Scopus and you just type in some some topic, some keywords. For example, we can search by India, and you can see that there are more than 2.5 million publications published by your colleagues from India. And also you can see not only the publications, not only the abstracts of these publications in Scopus, but you can also download them to read the full text, and you will be able to download either the publications that are in open access or that are available to you upon the subscription. You can also make the analysis of all these publications and see, for example, what is the institution which is the top rank institution in your subject area. So, for example, all of us, all of the researchers know who is the most known researcher in his broad subject area. But when you are analyzing some specific topic, some new topic, and some very narrow or very prominent topic, recent one, sometimes it is hard to say what is the institution or what is the researcher who is working on this topic right now, and who is the leader in that topic right now. And using this analysis mode, you can analyze that, and you can also analyze not only by affiliations, not only by the organizations, but also by the authors, by the publication type, by subject areas, etc. There are also some additional resources that can help you to answer very important things that you, very important questions that you need to answer when you start your research. For example, what is the background of your research question? What is the list of concepts and keywords that you will be using in firstly in doing the literature discovery, and later on in writing your paper? What are the common research methods applied in order to conduct your actual research? What is the research gap identified in prior studies, so that you would be able to set up a correct research question and to set up a correct hypothesis? What are the recent issues being raised? Are there any specifics to your subject or the object of your study? And in this case, you can firstly, of course, as we have already discussed, use the abstract and reference database such as Scopus, but you can also use, and you should direct yourself to Science Direct, and especially the topics page of Science Direct, using this link, where you can see all the main concepts available out there and related terms. And also you can see the prominence of each topic cluster in Scopus. Also, as my colleagues will be telling you, is that you can use specific tools in order to keep your library up to date and store all your files. So previously, when we didn't have such opportunities, you had to store all your files on a USB or on your computer, but nowadays you have the possibility to make your own personal library, and not only to have the availability to and access to all your full text, but also to be able to automatically generate bibliography, so to create the references for your papers. In more detail, my colleagues will tell you later on. So the first trend was in using specific tools in order to read and analyze the research landscape. So the trend number 2 is unification of article structure. And this unification is made for easy reading and easy writing. So if we go to Scopus and make a very basic search, so we will search for all the publications published in English language and starting from the year 2000, as you can see from my search query, we will see approximately 48 million publications available out there, and we will see also that some of them are available to you based on open access, but most of them are of course available upon subscription. And if we analyze search results, we see that most of the publications are article type of publications. So these publications are research publications, so they present empirical data. And most of these publications are structured into the IMRAD structure. What is the IMRAD structure of the publication? It is an acronym for Introduction, Methods, Results, and Discussion. And this structure makes up for most of the publications, as we see, available out there, published in a reputable journal that are indexed by Scopus. This structure is so unified, made available and unified across disciplines, that makes it easier for us, firstly, to write articles, and if you know what is expected from you in each of the sections of the article, it is easy for you to write a paper. And you can also use some guidelines, for example, made available by Manchester University, the academic phrase bank, where you can see what is expected from a researcher to write in a specific section of the paper. For example, when you're introducing your paper, when you're describing methods that you have done, when you're reporting the results that you have received from your paper. But also this is made for the readers to analyze and read the papers much easier. So when you're making a search for the literature, usually you have quite many research results. For example, we go to Science Direct, we made a search query by India. Of course, it's very broad. You will be making your search query for a very specific term, but still, usually you will have several thousand results of papers, and you will have to analyze and read all these papers one by one. And of course, it takes really lots of time. And the IMRAD structure makes it easier for you as a reader to analyze a large volume of publications to figure out a specific information that is valuable to you. For example, you are trying to understand what is the methodology most used to analyze a very specific topic of your interest. So you make a search query, you have several thousands of results, and then you go to papers and you analyze, for example, only the methodology sections. So you click on the methodology section of the outline of the paper, and you will be able, in such a way, analyze a very broad number of papers and have an overview of the information that is of interest to you. Or, for example, if you want to understand what is the foundation of a particular research question of your interest, you could go to introduction sections and you see what is the foundations of this research in numerous of papers. So what are they based on, this research? Trend number 3 is transparency of research data, which is important for data verification and for research reproduction. In most of the papers and most of the journals that you will be submitting nowadays, it is obligatory to make your research data transparent. Of course, it is not in all of the journals today, but this is trend, and this trend is growing. And soon, most of the journals will request to make your research data available to the readers and to reviewers. So usually there are several options how to make your research data available. So firstly, you can make you can provide your data and make it available as a supplementary material to your publication. So it will be available just as a supplementary material, as an online additional material to your paper. But there are also additional options, such as, for example, you can submit your paper to Mandalay, to a specific section of Mandalay, which is Mandalay data. This is a data repository that has already more than a quarter of more than 25 million data sets available of all kinds of types. So, for example, you're using computer science, your research is dedicated to computer science, you can make available your software code. Or for example, you're doing the geography or environmental sciences, you can post here your geospatial data. Or for example, you're doing some engineering research, and you can post here your 3D models or some other materials. And when you post here your data, you make it transparent, you also receive a DOI code, digital object identifier code, so that all other researchers that would like to use your data for their own research, they can cite your data set. And you will be able to track progress. You'll be able to see how many people viewed your data, how many people downloaded your data or cited your data. And you can also cite your data yourself in your publication based on this data. So this is a great example of how can you make your data transparent. But also there are specific journals, dedicated journals that enable you to publish your data sets. For example, there is a journal which is called Genomics Data, where you can publish some data on genomics, or there is a journal which is called Data in Brief, and this journal is of general topic, and you can publish there of data of any kind. For example, you had a survey of students on a specific topic. So after this survey, you have an Excel sheet of answers of the students, and you believe that this data is valuable to a scientific community around the globe, and you can publish this data in this journal, and your paper will be indexed in Scopus, and you will receive citations, your Hirsch index will also increase, etc. So this is the valuable option for you, that you can make your data transparent. Also, if we go to all the types of articles available, for example, in Science Direct, we can see that there are really many publication types nowadays, such as software publication, even video articles. This is a new type of publications available to you. And also, if we go to search results, to article types, we can see that there are data articles, software publications, video articles, all of these types you can use to search documents on Science Direct and view all these articles. You can view some articles on some data articles, for example, and see the examples being published, and maybe you also have some data sets that can be published already in the nearest future. In general, data makes your publication visible, and also it makes your publication much more desirable, because in the article type of publications, in empirical research, data is one of the most important piece of your information that you share. And it is important, of course, to present your information in the best format that it will be readable. And in general, your data is one of the most important piece of information in research results. When you write your paper, we remember we have talked that nowadays articles are structured into IMRAT structure, and the letter R stands for results. So here the good practice is in general to structure all your results, and also to supplement these results with figures and tables, because as the famous saying of Sue Hanover says, one picture is worth 1,000 words. It means that if you are able to summarize all your findings into blocks of figures and tables, it will be valuable for the readers and also the reviewers. But of course, if we are talking about the research results section of your paper, it is important to avoid your own judgments and interpretations. And in general, if you are distributing and making available your data, you should not manipulate the facts and not round round off your results, but you should present your raw data as it is, as received from your actual methodology that you have used. So the trend number 4 is accelerated scholarly communication. The types of publications available to you are really very broad. And these types of publications are depending on the stage of your research. For example, the initial stage of your paper is that you can post something as a preprint, as a white paper or working paper. So this is something that you have written. It is not yet published. It is not yet accepted by a journal, but you can still already disseminate it among the researchers to show that you are working on this topic. You are maybe a pioneer of some research question, and you can publish this. Usually the next stage is a short communication. Usually it is about some preliminary results that you have received. So you can already publish a short communication of your paper. The next section, the next stage of your scientific communication is that you can publish a conference paper. So you already present your results, your preliminary results at a conference paper, and you publish some results and present them at the conference. And so there are really many communication modes available to you, and they're also recently been integrated into Scopus as well. And for example, if we see that there are preprints available in Scopus as well, so you can track the publications of various researchers as it goes along. So usually some research starts with preprints, with conference papers, and it only ends with an article or review paper or a book chapter only a couple of years after the research project actually has started. So now you're able to track all the progress of this research as it goes along. One of the very good resources of where you can store your preprints, or you can disseminate your research results in an earlier stage that you have just started your research, you can disclose it on a SSRN resource. This is a resource for preprints, and it is well structured into disciplines. So you just select your discipline of your interest and you submit your paper. And there are also some examples that researchers are being granted and being awarded some very important prizes only based on their preprints. So this is a well-established form of scientific communication, and very important one. So trend number 5 is to focus on the impact. So previously, probably you have heard about the publish or perish slogan for the researchers, that if they don't publish, they don't get promoted on the work, etc. But the recent trend suggests that researchers not just need to publish, but the research needs to be cited. And this is the trend. And the question is how to be cited. Why some papers are cited better than others, or cited more than others. And of course, it has to do with academic reputation, because the articles of the world's prominent scientists are first viewed and cited. And probably you have also noticed this after yourself as well, that probably you also track the publications of the most prominent researchers in your subject area, and you read them first and you cite them first. So still scientific community and academic work means that you have to work on your academic reputation. And then as students say that reputation works on you after some time. Also, the well-known publisher also is important that if you publish in a well-known publisher, in a journal of a well-known publisher, most probably your paper will be cited higher. And this is due to various factors. One of them is that just researchers are using dedicated resources, online resources, to track publications of these publishers. For example, quite many researchers around the world, they are using Science Direct to track research. So that is why they will be seeing only the publications of Elsevier, and that is why the publications of Elsevier will be cited more than of some unknown journal or the journal that is published individually by some scientific center or institution. Also, the top journals are, of course, being viewed and cited much more. So each subject area, or if we take the Scopus classification, this is HGC classification codes. So each subject area has some top journals measured by citations and views. And of course, these top journals are well known, and they are viewed and read much more often than some other journals. So if you publish in the best journal of your subject area, of course, you will be cited much more. Also, if you're from high-ranked institution, for example, measured by world rankings, most probably you will also be, your paper will be read and cited higher. This is also important, your affiliation. And of course, so the prominence of your topic. So how relevant is your topic nowadays in your subject area? So this is an example of Russian publications I have gathered to present. And if we see that, for example, the field-weighted citation of publications made in Elsevier is 3 times more than in some other publishers. So this is some quantitative proof of the fact that it is important not only the journals, but also the publishers that you publish your paper with. Also, about the citations of your publication, about the readability of your publication, you have to think about it already on the stage of preparing your paper, of writing your paper, because you have to remember of how and why and who will be able to find your article after the publication. So for example, if you choose the keywords, are these keywords popular in this subject area? Are these keywords relevant in this subject area? Will a person type in this subject, these keywords in the search engine of a specific resource, for example, in Scopus or in Science Direct or in some other resource? Will this person type in these keywords in order to find your paper? Or will these keywords relate to your paper? For example, is your paper really about the coastal zone? So if a person will type in the coastal zone, will he really admire your work or not? Or he will think that your work is irrelevant? So it is important to think about the keywords, about these phrases that you use, about the concepts that you use when you write your paper. And in general, search engine optimization is an important question already at the starting point of your paper. So the keywords, phrases, concepts that you use, the highlights that you indicate in your paper, they all count in promotion of your own paper. So you have to think about it twice. And also the data. The more data you make available in your paper, the more interest your research gets from other researchers. Also, you have to select the most relevant topics and keywords, and how to make that, how to choose what are the most relevant topics and keywords for your research paper. So if you go to Scopus and use any you select any paper on your topic, there is a specific section about the topic name and the prominence percentile. The maximum is 100, minimum is 1. So you are looking at selecting the topic and phrases and keywords of the most relevant topic nowadays, of the most prominent topic with the highest prominence percentile. So if we click here on the topic, we see what are the phrases mostly used by other researchers in their area when they are analyzing and when they are writing, for example, about neural networks. And we see that the most frequently used phrases and concepts are neural networks, deep learning, object detection, computer vision. So if you are writing on this topic, firstly, your topic will be of high interest and highly cited, most probably. And secondly, these are the key phrases that you can use in your research, in your paper, in your keywords, in your abstract, to make your paper most visible. Also, in order to increase the citations of your papers, you can register yourself in an ORCID, which is Open Research and Contributor ID. This is a publisher neutral system where you can make your academic CV and synchronize it with Scopus and other abstract databases, not only Scopus. And all your publications being published, they will be all stored in one system. And each person who is interested in your research will be able to go to your research profile and see all the publications done by you. And this will also increase your citations of your papers. For example, a person will be able to see your publications not being indexed in Scopus, but published in some local journals or indexed in some other abstract databases. Trend number 6 is author-centric journal publishing experience. So the publishers are trying to make it easier for you to publish your papers. And one of these ways how to make it easier for you to get published is an online submission system. Most of the publishers, even the smaller ones, are integrating online submission systems. And this online submission systems, it makes it easy for you to communicate with the editors and even the anonymous reviewers. It makes it easier for you to track your publication process, so you can see at which stage is your paper being at. So for example, it is being with the editor, or it is being sent for review, or it is being sent back for revision, etc. You can see the options for open access, for article by article publications, etc. So we will see now on an example of Elsevier Journal. So the structure of the journal, of information about the journal, is nowadays also unified. So in most of the cases, you will see the information about the journal in the guide for authors. So if you go to the information about the journal, here you can see also the information that this journal supports article transfer service. So it means that if you submit your paper to journal A, but it is the editorial thinks that this journal is not, this article is not suitable to this journal, but your article is suitable to the journal B, you will be suggested to transfer automatically your paper to journal B, which also increases the chances of being published. You will also be able to see whether this journal has some special issues on a specific topic. And if you publish a journal on a specific topic in a special issue, then you increase the chances of your article being cited, because if a person comes to this journal, it finds the special issue by the name of the top researcher, he will be able also to see your own papers and read them through as well. So you will be able to promote your papers together with other researchers and using, for example, the reputation of not only of the journal, but also of the guest editor of this special issue. You will be able to see that whether the journal supports submissions without prior editing and formatting. This is also an innovation in publications that Elsevier, most of the journals, they accept publications without prior editing or formatting. So you will be able to submit your paper as it is without making some margins, making text size, etc. So you just submit your paper as it is on your computer, and then reviewers will review your paper only the scientific content of your paper, but not the formatting of your paper. So the formatting requirements are becoming easier and easier. Also, you will be able to see what types of publications are being accepted by a particular journal. So whether the journal accepts review papers or not, whether it accepts short communications or not. Most of the information is made much more easier for the authors to submit their paper and make it as fast and as easy experience as possible, including this article transfer service that I was talking about. So you just need to register in an online system for the Elsevier journals, this editorial manager, it is called, and then you just submit your paper. You see at which stage your paper is at the moment. For example, you're just submitting your manuscript. You will be able to type in all the information about the metadata about your paper, for example, the title, abstract, information about the authors, and just submit your paper. So all the experience is made as easy as possible to you. So the next question, after we have spoken about the trends, is how to choose the right journal for your paper. And there are 6 alternatives available to you. Firstly, I must say that Scopus is a quality control system in itself, and out of hundreds of thousands of journals available out there, Scopus selects only the best journals available and indexes these journals. And a specific context selection advisory board is selecting journals that, first of all, these journals meet all the technical criteria available, that are peer-reviewed journals. They have English abstracts, so the main text can be in any language, just the abstract title, abstract, and keywords must be in English. But also the content selection advisory board reviews all the journals based on their quality. So on the quality of content, on the editor standing, etc. So the quality assessment of the journals. And nowadays there are nearly 25,000 active peer-reviewed journals available in Scopus that you can choose from, and all these journals are divided quite even among the sciences, so the physical sciences, health sciences, social sciences, and life sciences. So yeah, there are plenty of journals for you to choose from on a specific page. And firstly, you can view all these journals using Scopus.com in an Excel format. You can see what journals are indexed, including what journals are discontinued from Scopus. There are also such examples, because we continuously evaluate journals that are being indexed. But when it comes to journal selection, there are quite important things to consider. Firstly, the publication quality. So what are the journals to choose from if you want to select the most journals, the most quality journals. So then you consider the citations of articles and the prestige of the journal. Then it is important for us to analyze the readability of the journal. What is the target audience of this journal? For example, whether this journal is focused on a general audience, general public, or whether it is focused on academic community, on the fundamental sciences. On the publication speed, it is also important of how long will it take for you to publish your paper in a particular journal. On the ease of publication, so what is the share of publications being actually published, accepted, out of articles submitted, whether there is the open access option, and what is the article processing charge if the open access option is available, and what are the limitations on the authorship, because some of the journals, they require membership in a particular association to be published, or some other restrictions that you have to consider. So now let's come to the options that are available to you to select a journal. The first option is to use your own bibliography, to use your own references. So the best option, the ideal option, is to have a look on your references and to see what journals are you actually reading, what journals publish the papers on your topic or on the topic of your interest. And then probably you should consider this journal to publish your paper. Option number 2 is to explore the search results. So you go to Scopus, you type in some keywords on your topic, for example, the coastal zone, coastal area, shoreline. You select some recent years to be sure that these titles, these journals publish the papers on this topic nowadays. Then we click on search, we see that there are quite many publications, and then we start filtering, so refining our search. And we see, for example, we want to refine that we are publishing a particular type of publication. For example, this is article or review. We select a particular subject area, for example, Earth and Planetary Sciences, and we see the source titles. So we see what journals publish papers of a particular type on a specific subject area on a specific topic. So what source titles are there, and you can select those source titles. Option number 3 is to see the list of journals being indexed. So we go to sources page, not to search, but to sources. Then we select a particular subject area, for example, Earth and Planetary Sciences, and we see all the titles available to you that are being indexed. And then you can refine them as well. For example, to display only open access journals, or to search only by, for example, first quartile, so only the top 25% journals. We can also see what is the percentage of documents cited in that particular journal, etc. Option number 4 is to consider those who cite your own papers. So, for example, you select your own documents, then you click on the button View Cited By. So you want to see who is citing your papers or papers of a particular researcher. And then you can see, you can click on source titles, and you can see what are the journals citing your own papers. And then probably you can also publish in that journals, because the researchers that publish in those journals, that they admire your work, they value your work, they think that your work is relevant. So most probably you can also publish in the journals. Also, you can look at your peers. For example, you use any university, for example, Anna University in Chennai. You can see their profile in Scopus, And you can select, for example, some subject area, for example, computer science, and you can see where do they publish, in which journals do they publish papers on computer science. And maybe you can also publish in that papers. So this is also an option to you to consider. For example, you can also see where your colleagues are publishing from your own university or from another university in your city. And also there is an automated system for finding a journal where you just copy paste your paper title, your abstract, and you type in your keywords and field of research. And the system will show you up to 50 journals at once that you can also analyze for the publication option. And here you can also see the acceptance rate for this journal. So what is the percentage of all submissions being actually accepted? So in the first journal, only 7% of all submitted articles are being accepted. So 93% of all the journals are being, of all the articles, of all the submissions are being rejected. You can sort by this option, by option A, for example, the acceptance rate, and you can select a journal that accepts, I don't know, 70 or more percent of submissions. Or, for example, you need a fast answer on your paper. Then you sort your paper by time to first decision. And then there are journals that will give you the answer whether they are interested in your paper or not in 1 week. So this is, once again, it's a very fast response from the journal on average. So you can sort by that indicator. So here you can also analyze what are the options available to you. And also I would like to share some useful links to you, and my presentation will be available, so you'll be able to use all the hyperlinks presented here. Firstly, there's a web shop of Elsevier that can help you, for example, in proofreading your papers or supporting you on illustrations, on figures for your paper. And also you can go to Researcher Academy. And as you can see, there are really many modules on each specific topic of your publication and research process. For example, on the publication process, on writing your research, etc. So you can view webinars on a particular topic and receive certificates on this particular topic of your interest. So I would like to thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any questions, please address them. I would be happy to answer.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. It was really very, very informative, and how to publish, how to get your paper published. If the very, very small nuances, how to increase your citations. That was very quite interesting for the quote cite operation. Yeah, that's true today. You have to increase your citations, and you have given us very, very clear points on how to improve our citations. So how to use select our first keywords. That's very starting point of selecting our keywords, the phrases to be used, the how you and attract people to get into your papers, the concepts. All these were given in a very clear manner. Thank you so much. And now it's open for discussion. So participants can raise your hand so that you can directly pose your questions to the speaker.
Or probably you can use your microphone, right?
Yeah.
People can also use the microphone.
Yeah, microphones.
Yes. Actually, as far as I know, yesterday there was also a question of if a person doesn't have an affiliation, so he doesn't work in a university, whether he can publish a paper or not. Yes, it's possible. You can just type in independent researcher, and it is also accepted. And you can also find it in the abstract databases. That there are not many, but there are researchers that just typed in independent researcher. So you can do that. You can also use the affiliation of your alma mater. So you can just type in the affiliation of the university that you have studied previously. So that is also the possibility for you.
Okay, thank you. That was a great discussion that was going on yesterday from someone called PCK Rao. I don't know whether the participant is today available. Sir, if you are available, I think the answer to your question, Andre has given, that you can give it as an independent researcher, or you can type in your alma mater where you have graduated from. So the participants can post your questions for today's session. For today's session, please post it in your chat box, or if you want to directly post it, can hand raise so that we can unmute you. You can ask through your microphones.
Well, basically, just before you're just thinking about your questions, I would just like to make some short recall that indeed, well, basically there are two major trends. One of them is that actually the things are becoming more and more automated, and they're becoming easier for researchers. So we are trying, including Elsevier as one of the largest companies in this area, in academic research. We're trying to make it much more easier for researchers. So you have Scopus, you have ScienceDirect, Mendeley, other online resources available to you to make your research easier. And we are trying to make it your publication easier. And for example, you have all the options available to you. You can submit without the editing of your paper. You can submit your paper free of charge, because most of the journals do not charge anything from the authors. Approximately 70% of all the journals available in Scopus, they do not charge anything from the authors. So you can publish free of charge. If you wish, you can publish in an online open access mode, and only then you have to pay. So there are really many options available to you, but at the same time there are also some difficulties. And one of these difficulties is, firstly, is the fact that the really large volume of information is growing. So the number of publications are growing exponentially on your topic, and you have to somehow stay up to date and analyze all this information. And secondly is that basically this is one of the biggest challenges, to stay up to date and to stay informed. So I see that there are some question. Some journals which are Scopus indexed are not listed in Scopus at all. Of a sudden, what to do if we have published in such a journal? You mean that the journal is discontinued? As far as I understood, yes, some journals are being discontinued, and we have available on our website, we have available some information to you, some guidelines of how to figure out some journals that that misbehavior. So basically, most of the journals that are being discontinued, they're discontinued because they are predatory journals. And you can actually track these predatory journals based on the fact that they're advertising heavily, that for some fee, they will be able to publish you in a very fast, probably without the peer review, etc. So there are some hints of how you can identify such journals by yourself as well. In general, if a journal is selected, it doesn't mean that this journal will be indexed forever in Scopus, because we evaluate this journal on basically on a daily basis, and it is being evaluated through four schemes. The first scheme is our automated system, which is called Radar. and it analyzes the publication behavior and in general the behavior of this journal. For example, the journal is Indian, and we expect that probably quite many publications will be from India. Quite often this is the case. Or for example, the journal is Russian, most probably a big share of publications will be from Russia, at least on the in first years after before the journal becomes truly international. But then suddenly we see something changes. Or for example, the journal is from Italy. Suddenly something changes, and from some point of time, the authors become absolutely from different continents, from different countries. Or for example, the journal has traditionally published 50 publications per year, and suddenly it started uploading to Scopus, indexing to Scopus 100, 500 publications. And this is our automated system radar that indicates this abnormal behavior of a journal. Secondly, we analyze journals by their metrics, journal metrics. For example, we see citations, we see views, other number of publications, etc. There are numerous metrics that we analyze of a journal relative to the average in this subject area. And if we see that this journal is twice less cited than it is average in this subject area, twice less viewed that it is average in this subject area, there are twice fewer publications than average in this subject area, then we consider that maybe the scientific community lost interest in this journal, and probably we should revise the indexation of this journal. Probably we should discontinue this journal. Also, the researchers, the academics, scientists, they can also inform us of misbehavior of some journal, for example. So, for example, you have submitted your paper to a journal, and they didn't do any review of your paper, but they just said that, okay, just pay using, I don't know, PayPal or bank transfer, just pay us some fee and we'll publish you. And quite many journals are being discontinued based on the fact that scholars inform us of this misbehavior of the journals, and then we start investigation, and then if we find the proof of such information, we discontinue a journal. So definitely, if a journal has been accepted to Scopus, it will not be in Scopus forever if it underperforms or if it misbehaves. So there are such questions. If indeed you have doubts about some journal, you can write to any of colleagues in Scopus team, and we'll answer to you whether this journal is under evaluation or it is being discontinued or something else. So if you really have some doubts about the journal, you can ask the team, the Scopus team. Also, there is Marhuns asks, what is your opinion on the hybrid journals? This is absolutely normal. So indeed, previously there were two major types of journals. Either the journal is based on subscription. The business model of the journal was subscription based, so it was absolutely free to the authors, but it was paid access to the readers. Another option was that the journal is open access and it is absolutely free to the readers, but paid for the authors. But now there are new type of journals, and this is indeed another trend that you have indicated, the trend for hybrid journals, that indeed all the major publishers, they give you the opportunity to publish your paper open access. But because still the business model of most large publishers is based on subscriptions, and this relates to any large publisher. It means that the fee for open access is quite high. usually, and in general, in top journals, the fee for open access is high. As far as I know, in the science journal Science, it is nearly $10,000 the fee for open access. The average fee is on the market is something like $2,500. This is the average. So whether there's a big question whether do you need to publish your paper in open access or not. And to answer this question, you need to answer the question: who are your readers? Whom are you trying to focus on? For example, if you're focusing on academic community, for example, your research is basic research and you're focusing on academic community, then most probably you're not obliged, or it is not so necessary to publish open access, especially if you publish in a large publisher such as Elsevier, because most of the universities and institutions around the globe, they have a subscription to Elsevier, and all this research will, in any case, they will have access to your publication, no matter whether it's open access or not. But if you're publishing, for example, in a small journal, that most probably institutions don't subscribe to. For example, you can ask your librarian in your university if you're publishing if you intend to publish in some specific journal, you can ask your librarian, what do you think? Do universities have access to this journal? Do they subscribe to this journal or not? And for example, your librarian can say that no, this journal, this publisher is so small, or this journal is not well known in the world. Most of the researchers, they don't subscribe to this journal, most of the institutions. And if you want your paper to be visible, you have to publish it on open access, or vice versa. Maybe you don't. And also, whom are you targeting? So for example, if your target audience is, for example, general public, so you're trying to focus on, for example, environmental issues, and you're trying to say that people stop using plastic bottles, for example. It's negative for the environment, and you want to see so that the general public will be able to see your paper, and social media, you want the social media to see your paper, then probably you will need to publish it open access, because the general public, they don't subscribe, they don't work at universities, they don't have access to subscriptions, and if you want this audience to read your paper, then you need to publish open access. So in answering short to your question, what do I think about the hybrid journals? It's good because it gives you flexibility in choosing whether you want to publish your paper in open access, or you don't want to pay and you don't want to publish open access. Sanida asks, what are the conditions for our institutional journal to be indexed in Scopus? Actually, all the requirements are easily available to you on scopus.com. You can go and have a look. It's all very transparent, absolutely transparent, all this information. So there are some basic criteria, 5 or 6 basic criteria. So it should be published regularly, it should be peer-reviewed, it should have metadata in English language. So title, abstract, and keywords, and it should be published at least 2 years. So these are the minimum criteria. After that, we will consider your journal and we will send it to the Content Selection Advisory Board. And this Content Selection Advisory Board will already consider the publications, the actual papers published in your journal, whether they are of good quality and whether they bring something new to the scientific community or not. Sida asks, my question is, what are the difficulties faced by researchers from small research areas? And how to overcome these difficulties in publishing? Well, there are definitely some narrow topics available out there. And there are some advantages and disadvantages in that area. The advantages are that there are not much rivals, I would say, and your topic, if it's really narrow, probably you know all the researchers in your area, you read them, it's much easier to be on track on your topic, to see all the recent developments on your topic. So this is definitely the advantage. The disadvantages are that indeed there are fewer journals in your topic. There are fewer independent researchers that can, for example, review your paper anonymously. So there are some difficulties indeed, but I would say that you need to identify what are the 1 or 2, maximum 3 most important international conferences on your very narrow topic and participate them obligatory on an annual basis, at least in one of them, in best conferences on your topic, and identify 1 or 2 top journals in your very narrow area and read these journals and try to publish there at least once. And then you already be on track and you will be involved. People will know you, people will invite you. And then, so the most difficult is to start, but actually, if you think of that, every topic is narrow. And for example, I'm a doctor in geography, but I don't study all geography. I study the geography of innovation, and this is a very narrow topic. And I also face some difficulties in my area as well. So it's actually good that you understand your narrow topic. So Marhun asks, I published 3 papers in a Scopus Index journal. After acceptance and publishing my papers, the journal is suddenly discontinued from Scopus. When I contacted the Scopus support, they informed me that the journal is discontinued and your papers can be added. Yes, we have already discussed that, indeed. The journals can be discontinued. And on our website, on scopus.com, we have some information to you on how to identify journals that misbehave, for example, or the journals that have very low metrics that can be discontinued based on underperformance. But still, if you have some doubts, even after having a look at these guidelines, you can always ask Scopus team or colleagues from Elsevier, and they will support you. Also, colleagues would like my comments on hack sites like LibGen and Sci-Hub. Well, these are hack sites indeed, and basically this is illegal. Yeah, so many people, for example, as I experienced, that many people use these hack sites to download papers just because they are unaware of how easy it is to get access to these papers legally from your university. For example, if you go to Scopus, many people don't know it, but if you go to Scopus, you will be able to download really high percentage of papers. So just type in scopus.com, make a search on your keywords, on your subject area, tick the button on the articles that you're interested in, and just click on the button download. And you will be able actually to download these papers 50 at once. At one click, the maximum download is 50 papers. So, and per day, you can download as many papers as necessary for your research. So also on Science Direct, there are really many hundreds of thousands. Actually, there are more than a million papers available to you open access. So you can also go to Science Direct and download papers of Elsevier absolutely for free. So actually, most of these hack sites are used by researchers that are actually unavailable of absolutely legal opportunities that they have to read these papers. Also, Rao asks, but how only academicians are allowed to publish or get support in recognition their research in these journals? Will such restrictions as criteria encourage biased approach? I didn't really get the question, because actually in most of the journals, any person can publish his paper. He can be either working in academia or not. He can be working in a corporate sector, for example. He can also publish, and also, which is the good thing, especially if you publish in large publisher with large publishers, such as, for example, Elsevier, that nobody asks you about who you are. At least it is not considered at the time of reviewing your paper. So you can be a student. You might be not a doctor, for example, of science or something else. You may be not a professor. You may be not working at a university at all. Just your research is being evaluated and not you as a person. So the review is being absolutely anonymous. So any person who has done research on his topic can publish, no matter whether he has something to do with academia or not. Is it possible to know the program, department H-index like institution H-index? It is possible. You can make a set. So it all depends whether you have subscription to Scival or not. If you don't have subscription to Scival, it is a little bit more difficult, because in Scival you can create groups of research and name it, for example, Department of Physics or something else. If you don't have, you can just find all these papers in Scopus and calculate the H-index by yourself. So basically the H-index, it says how many citations are received by how many papers. For example, if you have 3 papers being cited 3 times, at least 3 times, then your H-index is 3. If you have at least 5 papers being cited each not less than 5 times, then your H-index is 5, etc. So you can actually, once again, contact some colleague, for example, from Chennai, my colleagues from Elsevier, and then they will show you at least once how to calculate the H-index of a department. So paper by paper. It's actually absolutely possible. Yes, you can do it. Rao writes, I believe first and last criteria so a single most factor to be considered must be quality relevance or contemporary nature and impact on the global level. Intellectual capital must yeah, so about evaluation, about research evaluation, about evaluating journals, etc. I would just like to say 2 major principles of Elsevier. The first principle is that we always use a basket of metrics. So we never use one metric to evaluate something or to make a judgment of something. We always use at least 2. And secondly, we always supplement quantitative data with qualitative data. So we never make a judgment only based on quantitative metrics. So for example, that something is not cited enough, or something is not viewed enough, or a researcher is not good enough because he publishes not in first quartile journals or something, that this is unacceptable. So we always use firstly several metrics, and then these several metrics are analyzed, and in general the situation is analyzed by an expert. And this expert considers the importance of one metric over the other one. So this should be applied on every level. So either you want to analyze a journal or a researcher or an institution, and this is important. So another question. So I apologize for many questions. Recently, my papers in Scopus, have been cited, and suddenly I noticed that these citations disappeared from my profile. Yeah, so about the citations that are being disappeared, well, there are actually very few explanations why can this happen. One of the explanations why citations might disappear from your outer profile in Scopus is that either your paper was excluded from Scopus, or the paper that was citing your research was excluded from Scopus, and this can happen. That a paper that was already available in Scopus, it can be excluded if we found that in a particular journal there were very many violations, and all these papers were excluded. But actually, this happens very rarely. There were just a few cases. So you can once again approach your Elsevier representative, and they can have a look why could that happen, especially if you remember about your citation, where was it?
Sorry, Andre. So related to the Scopus question, so I've dropped in the web link where you can complain about all the issues that you have with Scopus. So it's like I've just dropped a web link, so you can like a Scopus support hub. Where you can choose your specific question on the topic, and then you can post your questions, and the Scopus team will be happy to help you on any of your questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Someone raising their hand? Not now. Okay. So you want to go for one or two questions? Last questions.
Yeah, I would like to add to Andre's point that Scopus has a discontinued list, like what he said, and I also showed you some slides on that. So there is a third tab where Scopus updates the discontinued list every month. So you can actually do your due diligence by looking at that list as well. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. I think that's all. We don't have any more questions in the chat box or anybody else. Any other participants?
Yeah, one open question. Yeah, one voice question, maybe.
Yeah, one voice question. Anybody can hand raise and we can unmute you. Participants, please. One question directly to the speaker.
Maybe Achaya.
Suresh.
Dr. Suresh, yes, you can go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, yes, sir. Good noon to all. Thank you. It is a very nice presentation. We have learned a lot. Thank you, doctor. As I have mentioned in the chat box, is it required for department ID, as well as it should mention in our journal paper for to calculate the H-index for the department?
Well, there are two options of how to calculate the H-index of a department. One of them, again, I'm saying now, if you don't have a subscription to Scival, just on Scopus. Well, there are two options. Option one is that your institution can create a hierarchy of your institutional profile in Scopus. And this hierarchy will work if you indicate your faculty or your department every time in your publications. And then if anyone will come to Scopus on your institutional profile, he will see an additional button about the institutional profile hierarchy. He goes there, he sees all the publications available of that department or of that faculty, and then he will be able to see all the metrics also of that publications. If not, then you will be able to, then you need to find all the publications manually. If you know the people that work in your department, then you just try to find the publications of the people in your.
Sorry for interruption, Professor. Sorry.
Yeah.
Our institution have a H index of 48. But what I am asking is, we are having 8 departments. Is it possible to find out that individual department H index? We are having institution H index is 48.
Yes, I know. Okay, in order to make it visible, I will just show it to you.
Okay,
how can this be done?
Yeah, you can drop your institution name or
National
maybe
Engineering College. National.
Okay, just a second. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I will just show you on an example. So you go to affiliations. I will just show you on one of the institutions that I know that they have the hierarchy. For example, this Moscow State University. Or do they? Document by institutions. Sorry, I thought that they have. So if an institution would have a hierarchy, here would be an additional button, institutional hierarchy. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have it. Okay, I'll show you another one. Okay, so and this hierarchy can be created by any institution. You can make it at your institution as well. So, for example, here this is the traditional view, but here's also the affiliation hierarchy. So you can click on it, and you will be able to see the publications of your particular department or faculty. And you can go to these publications and you can see, for example, we will click on this one, some small institution. Then you click on Analyze Search Results, and you will be able to see all the metrics of this institution, including View Citation Overview. Just a second, it will load now. Yes, so here is H index 11. So this would be one option, and of course this is easy if you have your hierarchy available. If you don't have it available, then you know the people that are working in your institution, or you know the publications of your institution, and then you have to find all these publications, and then how to see the H index. So, for example, you found all the publications of your institution, of your department, of the people who are working with you. Then you sort them from the highest to lowest. So you sort them by highest, and you scroll down to see the match between the number of publications and the number of citations. And then you see here that, for example, 11 publications, they have 12 citations or more. We see that other ones, they have more. But 12th publication, it doesn't have 12 citations. So the index, the H index is not 12, but 11. So the number of citations must be equal or more to the number of publications. And in such a case, you can evaluate the H index based on any amount of publications. But because the H index, because it will be difficult to find all the publications of the people that are working in your department, most probably you will need to download these publications in an Excel sheet together with citations. So you will include the information about citations. Yes, so citation count. So you will include the citation count of all the publications, do the search author by author, and then do the same sorting in Excel.
Okay, Professor.
I hope it's
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah.
Thank you, organizer. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Any other question?
Okay, if there are no questions, I'd like to thank you very much for participation. I will send my presentation also. I'll make it available, so you'll be able to see it, have a look, maybe use some hyperlinks as well.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your patient answering for all the questions, and it was really a wonderful session and interactive too. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we'll be moving on to the next session, and that's a very important session of reference management. So that's the key area where the researchers have to concentrate once they choose the topic of reference collection and managing the reference. It's made very easy by using certain tools, and we'll be listening to how to use them and make your reference management quite easier. So over to GN sir for the formal introduction of the speaker of this session, Sangeet sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, one and all. Sangeet Sissel is working for Elsevier since 2009 as product manager for Scopus Author Feedback Wizard. Sissel helps the author to stay up to date with their Scopus author profiles. Sissel is a passionate Mendeley advisor and started the Indian Mendeley Advisors Group to promote Mendeley and connect the Indian authors to international research. So, dear participants, Mr. Sissel has, with his 12 years of expertise in this field, is the apt person to speak on the topic, Introduction to Mendeley Reference Manager. So, on behalf of the institution, I extend my heartfelt welcome to Sangeet Sissel. Welcome, sir. Now I hand over the session to Sissel, sir. Sir, please, over to you, sir.
Thank you for your introduction. So I think I can quickly move to my slides. Before that, I want to thank all the speakers. So it was a short time, so we could arrange this webinar. And also I thank the principal and also Dr. Radhika for arranging the session, and also the organizing committee to be very patient with us and arranging all the necessities for this webinar. So I can quickly jump into the slides. But before that, I also see some questions related to how to download the certificate. I will try to cover that at the end. All right, so let me begin with the slides. Okay, so first I want to introduce about the reference management, and then I will go a bit deeper on the Mendeley side. So before going into it, so this is just preliminary slide. So I'm just giving you an overview of Mendeley, but I'm not going to show you any demo, but I promise Dr. Radhika that I will do some workshop in her institution, and also I am happy to do Mendeley workshop in your institution personally, so that we can work with the tool. But this is maybe a few of them already know about this tool, but some researchers may be hearing for the first time. I think this is one of the best tool that we have from the Elsevier solution, so that you can manage your reference. So without any delay, I'll go to my first slide. So before introducing the tools, I want to introduce the concept of reference management. So one of my professors used to tell when I was doing my MPhil, so the foundation of any research is the review of literature. So when you do a review, so you find the pillar of the research, and then you build your idea, and also you build your research upon it. So I think it's rightly pointed out. So I think reference management is one of the important thing to actually manage that pillar of your research. So reference management, if you want to explain that in terminology, so reference management is systematic process of organizing the search literature. So you're organizing the search literature so that it can be easily retrievable, and also it should be citable. So I will cover more about what cite means. So why we need reference management? So first, so when you're doing a research, or so you're searching a research on the web, so you need to search for research article related to your subject. And the second, then you need to store it in your computer or in your local drive, or you have a specific folder. In earlier, we used to store it in a thumb drive. Normally Indian researchers do. And also we have to manage it. So we have to manage, so which project we are using, which references, and also for PhD, for chapter 1, chapter 2. So we will have a number of references with us. And also when we write, so these references, so we call that at the end of the reference, either in the dissertation thesis or when we are writing a research paper, we will also call these references so citation and bibliographic. So citation is something that you do inside the paper, saying what it is, like number 1 or the name in a short, and then in the bibliographic at the end of the dissertation or paper, you say the details about that. So going more insight into the citation and references. So citation and references, like what we are trying to do is acknowledging the original source. So that's very important. So if you're referring somebody else's work, and then you found an idea or a pillar of your research, so you just acknowledge them. Because of these paper, I could think in this way, and then I could do this research. So citing and referencing indicate the source of information and providing the description of the source. So there are two things. So citing is, so when you're writing a paragraph about a summary in an introduction, so you're just saying that I'm based on my reading, I found this is the ongoing challenge, and then it was defined by a professor, or defined by a researcher, X and Y, and then at the end you say source of the information, so where you found that. So why reference is very important? So first, you need to validate and support your research, like I said. So you have a random thought in your head, or a random idea in your head, but you need to validate and support the research literature to make sure that your idea is actually correct. And then increase knowledge in your area of research. So you need to increase your knowledge in your area of research, because there are a lot of new trends are coming on, and then you need to adapt to that changes as well. So you need to know a lot of knowledge, and also you need to know the depth of the knowledge that you're working on. So I think that's very important, that you should actually read a lot of references. Help readers to find the original source. So when you're writing a paper, so you're indicating someone else will, you should always think that someone else will read my paper as well, like I'm doing it now. So research is like a continuous effort. So people who started research in earlier days, so they left that in their journey, and then we should also leave that in our journey. so that people will continuously read through the research and do wonders. And also the final point is very important. So we need to avoid the repetition and parallel. So somebody else is already doing your research and then you don't want to do or repeat it again. So that you need to strike that out when you're starting your research. So it will be a duplicate of effort. So when you want to do it again. So before I'm going into the Mendeley, I want to explain two concepts. So one is the in-text citation, which is, like I said, when you're writing in the abstract, or sorry, in the introduction. So you're saying that there's a problem and I read it here, and then you call that numbers, like, can you see the numbers like 1,2, which means that it's an in-text citation. So it is the number, or if you're working on the arts and humanities area, so you will put the name, comma, et al. So which means that's called as in-text citation. So when you say, normally you will have number or the author name in the in-text citation. So, but when you want to elaborate that, so that's called the bibliography or a reference list, normally called. So you expand the name, the title, the journal, the page number, the volume, issue, etc. So that's a full description of the source. Sometimes you will also give the URL, the link, or the DOI, which is the identifier for the article. So this is a few examples of a number of styles that we have. So when you're writing a references, or when you're saying the source of the information, so you have a different style, and then it demands for different journals. So when you're in engineering, so IEEE is a common example. So they are normally call for like numbers. So when you're in the arts and humanities area, so it's always the Baker et al. 2011, which is the name and the year. But Vancouver, it's also a number, but that's very commonly used. You might have, if you've already written in articles, you might have used predominantly the number format a lot. So Vancouver is predominantly used in different journals. So when you look at this article, so I just want to elaborate. So what are the information, if you're not yet written any papers, so for you, this is information what you give in the reference normally. So first you give the authors, and then the title of the article that you read, and the journal name and the year, and then the volume and the issue in brackets, and then page number. So this will change from journal to journal on the different way you express this information. But mostly you need all this information. What you see here should be listed in the bibliographic to acknowledge the source. Okay, without any further delay, so I'll go into, I will introduce to the Mendeley. So Mendeley is a software that's a free to use. So you can have a desktop version, which means that you can install in your computer and use it. And there is also a web version. So when you go, in order to do that, so first you need to go to www.mendeley.com, and then you need to create an account. It's just like creating an account with Google, Facebook. So you give your details, email, and then you can just create your account. So with after the creation of your account, so you can use two things. You can use web, Mendeley Web, and also Mendeley Desktop. So the installation is very simple. So it's a 3-step process. I have given a link here. So if you want to explore and see how Mendeley works for you as a desktop, so you can download to your computer. So it works for Mac, Windows, Linux. So you can try using in your computer. So, and this is the web version, so you can, so sorry, when you're installing the Mendeley, so after the installation, you need to install two things. So one is the Mendeley Web Importer, and the second thing is the Citation plugins. I will talk about this in detail at the end. So how does Mendeley help? So why do you have to install this software? So Mendeley will help it's a cloud-based platform where all the information will be stored in the cloud. So if you are searching on a research, it is when you're starting a research and you're doing a lot of search of research articles in the website, and then you're taking those content in, and then you download into your computer. So instead, you can also store it in your Mendeley desktop, or you can add it directly to your Mendeley web, and then that can be stored in a cloud where if that is in the cloud, then you can access in your computer or in your lab computer, or you can access in your mobile using the any web browser. So you can just check all your articles that you downloaded and stored. So it will help you to manage it. So first, it will help you to search, store, and access anywhere. So this is about an access, so how you can access. So using Mendeley. So Mendeley, when you look at the view, it's just like in the central pane, you'll see all the PDFs that you've downloaded or added to the Mendeley desktop. So this is the view of the desktop. On the left-hand side, you will have all the options of the library. And on the right-hand side, when you click on any PDF, it will open up the page to see, to show the details of the PDF, like abstract, title, etc. So this is similarly, this is same as the web version. So the desktop and web is almost same, only the outlook is a bit different from the desktop version. So first, so when you downloaded a Mendeley, and also you have a web and the desktop version, so first you need to do set up your library. So you need to set up a library. Before that, you need to add the documents inside the Mendeley. For example, if you're already doing it in a folder, so you have a folder, dedicated folder to store all the information or whatever that you searched on a web, and you find the useful research papers, and then you store that in your computer, and then you want to move that, you can just move it in your Mendeley desktop by just dragging and dropping, or you can just use the add file to add documents. And also there's a cool feature in Mendeley where you already have a folder in your computer. For example, you have a folder in download, and you put you have a file folder named research articles. Then you can say like watch folder using Mendeley. So you can use the Mendeley to watch that folder. So whenever you're adding any content to that folder, that will automatically get added to the Mendeley, and then you can see it in anywhere. Anywhere like your mobile or in your lab, so you don't have to copy it every time from your personal computer to your lab computer to your mobile, etc. And then if you're already using another reference manager, so you can also export and import the files from there to Mendeley directly. So there's an option. So this is the way that, yeah, this is a file to show so how you can actually add a document. So you can just drag and drop from your local computer to your Mendeley. So it will just add it to get added to the Mendeley. And yeah, this is about the watch folder. So it's very easy to set up a watch folder. So you can, so now you see it's a Windows like a C, and then you need to choose the correct folder to watch it, and then it will continuously watch all the folders. So whenever that you add a document there, it will get added, and all the documents that's already get added to that folder will be imported to the Mendeley. So this is important features of Mendeley Web Importer. So you don't, like when you're searching a document or a Science Direct article in the website, you don't have to download every time and add it to your Mendeley. So we have a plugin where you can install it. So it's a Mendeley Web Importer, where when you're reading the document, so it will be on the top of your browser. So you can click on the Web Importer, and then you can just select that article that you're reading in a different, maybe different tabs or in your browser. So you can select that article, and then you have the plus button to add to Mendeley, then that will get added to your Mendeley. So you don't have to download and manage it by yourself. So it's a very simple way. When you're searching, you need to add it to your Mendeley. right away. So that will be there in the cloud, and then whenever you want to read, you can read it later. So I will show the other slides on how to read it. Yeah, this is an example. So how Web Importer works. So when a PDF is opened in a browser, and then you click on the small icon on the top. So it says Mendeley. So this is a Mendeley plugin. So when you click on that, you will see this particular article is listed here, and then you can choose them and then add it to your Mendeley. So that's as simple as this. So you don't have to do anything. And this is one of the important things. So you always have to sync because you have a Mendeley desktop in your home computer, personal laptop, and also in your lab computer. So you always have to sync, which means that whatever that you added in the local desktop, it will get synced, and then you can see at the same time in all the computers. So, but whenever you open or close, the sync will automatically works. So managing your library. So this is very important step. So you know how to download a research article that you're reading on the web, or you know the PDFs that you're reading. So you need to manage your manage your document. So whenever that you added a document, so it will be like an unsorted, so it will be in the all documents section. So when you click on all document, it will show all the documents that you have inside the Mendeley. And also you have recently added, so if you recently added some articles, you can see it. And then recently read, so when you open a PDF and read some articles inside the Mendeley, so it will show. And then you can also mark the favorites, like the star here you want to read, or you can mark. And then you also have my publication, that the publication that you published will be there in my publication. And then you can also have this folder structure. So this is very important. So before I explain this, so on the next slide, so there's another options like this is unread. So when you have green here, so it's unread, which means that you have to read. And then if you have the full text, you can see the PDF symbol. So this will make you look and feel great. Yeah, this is the folder structure. So it's very important that you manage the folder right right first time. So when you're searching for an article, then you need to decide on where you're going to use it. So if for example, if you're using if you're doing a PhD and also doing a project, DST project, and then you can give a DST project name as a folder, and then you can put that specific folder so put the specific references in that folder, so that it will be easy to manage at the end. So it will give you a good housekeeping experience if you do it at the beginning. And especially how I am doing is like I have the PhD PhD chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So what are the things that I'm actually reading for the chapter 1, and what are the reference I feel that fit for chapter 2, I'll be putting that in the right folder. So whenever I want to refer when I was writing, or when I want to refer something on the particular chapter, then I will go directly to that folder and take those content. So and also the good thing is it search on your documents. So you can also search the documents within the Mendeley. So if you added a lot of references in your Mendeley, so it has a specific search. It will search even inside the PDFs. It will search on the desktop. So it will give you a good search field. So it will give the exact text. And then it is good to give tags if you want. Even you can give tags whatever you like. So if you want to give a tags for a specific subject, so you can click on the PDF and you can add the tags for that PDF. So if you know this, if you're working on the fluid dynamics, and then you can give fluid dynamics for all the papers that you read, so that when you search for fluid dynamics, you can get all the results easily. So you can also tag for yourself if this is related to this project. You can give the project name, for example, DST1, then you can give DST1. So when you search on DST1, it will come, all the papers will be listed. So Yeah, this is about the managing, and this is one of the cool feature that we have in Mendeley. So when you select 4 or 5 articles that you know for this project, and then you can also search for the related documents in the Mendeley cloud, Mendeley web. So you can search on all the documents that's related to that particular research. So it will give you a similar paper which relates to these taglines and also the text content. So it's advanced search. So it will give more relevant search for this papers. So yeah, checking for duplicates. So this is normally we used to see that when you download for a conference paper and you also have a paper in a special issue. So you might be tend to download a same paper from a different source like a preprint, and also from the Science Direct, and also from other sources that you have. So if you click on this option for check for duplicates, it will remove all the duplicates that you have in your Mendeley. So you don't have to duplicate your efforts on cleaning those stuff. So the number of research articles that you see in the Mendeley is actually unique. So this is a feature how to highlight and annotate a document. So this is how you read the PDF. So if you have a PDF in Mendeley, it will open inside the Mendeley, so it will not let you out. You can open inside the Mendeley, and then and then you can also do annotate. So you want to put a comment, and then you can just give the comments here, and then you can highlight whatever you want, just like a PDF reader. So you can annotate and keep it inside the Mendeley. So whenever you open the PDF, so you will see these comments coming on. So that's a cool feature. So you can even the comments will be saved inside the Mendeley. So even if your peers in Mendeley and you want to know what they think about this line or the paper, then you can put the comment and share it to them as well. So yeah, coming to the end, I think this is one of the important features the Mendeley is supporting, and we are investing a lot on building the citation. So this is the page from the Word document. So when you open a Word, you need to install this Mendeley site in the Word. So when you install that Mendeley site, so when you open the Word, so you will see it in the reference section, you will see the Mendeley site. So when you're writing a paper, so you've written everything, and then you can give the citation in text citation, the text, the numbers that you give, which is inside the text, like introduction or in the methods, etc. So in that case, you can actually give the in-text citation using this. So you can just have insert citation, and then you can say, and then it'll open up this box. So this box actually search inside the Mendeley. So in your the content that you stored, and then you can search here with your keywords or with the title that you want to, and then you can select that, and then if you hit OK, you will get this in the name of the author and the details in the in-text citation, like I showed in the first slide. So this is in the Word document. Okay, so likewise, after you did all the in-text citation, and then at the end, you need to just hit the button says insert bibliography, and then you will get all the bibliography at the end. So this is the coolest feature that we have. So which is having an integration with your own computer's Word and also the Mendeley desktop or Mendeley web. So you can actually this is especially for Mendeley web desktop. You also have a Word, then you can actually insert the citation in text citation as well as the bibliographic. You don't have to worry about the formats and citation. In the next slide, I want to talk about the styles. So you can choose the journal, or you can have the style that the journal is following. So if you're going to submit a manuscript for a specific journal, and then if they are following a specific style mentioned here, then you can choose that style. Or if you want to go and check for the exact journal citation style, you can also check on the most style to see whether you have that. So you can, but mostly it will be one of those things that they will follow. So you can select that so that you will get the right format like this. So it is depends upon journal to journal, so what style they follow. And if you find that there is no styles available for you, you can also click on the cls.mendeley.com, where you can find more styles and you can install in your Mendeley desktop, so that you can use it in the future. Sorry. So yeah, that's it about the Mendeley. So Mendeley as a comprehensive approach for the reference management. So where you can do search. So you can search in the web, you can search in the inside the Mendeley as well. And the third thing, you can store, which means that you store in the cloud, you store in your local computer, you store in your desktop, and use the watch folder to import the files into. And if you're using another reference manager, you can also import those files inside the Mendeley. And then in the part of the manage, so you can use the folder structure, and also you can use a specific tagging inside the PDF to manage your research articles that you are going to use for your research. And fifth one is write. And for write, we have a maximum support that we are offering. And this is most of the users of the Mendeley really like this feature, is the Mendeley site. So Mendeley site and in-text citation, where you can insert the citation, and also you can generate the bibliography at the end without even an effort from your end. So you don't have to do anything, you just have to search and match the article that you want to add. So this is the comprehensive support that you have. And very easy to do is using a Mendeley web importer, which means that you can have a plugin to add any articles that you're reading in your website in your browser to your Mendeley. So I think this is a comprehensive approach for all the researchers to give a best approach in reference management. So by this I end this session. So I'm open for any questions that you have.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Participants can pose your questions now.
Hand raise.
Bharati. Yeah, Bharati, you can go ahead, Doctor.
Bharati sir, you can unmute yourself and you can post your questions.
Dr. Bharati, you can unmute yourself and ask question. I don't think she's available.
Yeah, I think there's a difficulty for her.
To connect.
So, yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, we'll just give you 2 minutes for any questions, and then we can wind up now.
Yes.
Yeah, Mendeley, I got one question. Is Mendeley software is free or paid one? So Mendeley is free, so you can use it for free. There's no charge. So you can you can have your account for free, and also you can download desktop version and also web version for free.
Yeah, Dr. Bharti has posted a question in the chat box due to technical issue.
Mendeley support is free one or need to purchase? No, it's free, absolutely free. How can we add Mendeley in Word? So you need to install first Mendeley desktop, and then you need to install from the Mendeley, you need to install the Citation plugin for the Word. So you can also download it from the website. So there's a download option to include the site. Yeah, that's a very simple process. I have given this in. I will be sharing the slide so you can see that how to install the citation. So first we need I have given you the link. First you need to download the desktop, and from the desktop you can install the citation plugin. But first you need to have the Word. So first you should install the Word, and then you need to do all these things. So you can't install Word after that. Yes, sir. For software link, I will give you the presentation. It is there inside the presentation, sir. Yeah, regarding the certification, I will go at the end. Celine, is the code generated for the certificate?
Yes, Sangeet, it is the code is generated, but I'm still waiting for from the presenters to get the presentation. So once everything is ready, then I'll be sharing the code and the link. So people who have already registered can use the same link and then type in the password access code which I'm providing. So people who have not registered, then they can just click on the link, use register your name, give a name and the names and the other details. Then you will be asked for a few more details, and after registering you will be able to access the link, and using the code you can download. Yeah, we'll be sending out in a few hours. We'll be sending. Yes.
Okay. And one question is about, is there a tutorial for learning Mendeley software? Yes, there is even the resources inside the Mendeley, but you can also check in the YouTube. There are a lot of local language Mendeley people who did, or the volunteer, the Mendeley advisor did some videos. You can also have an English version of the learning tutorial for the Mendeley. I think I've given a link at the end. Yeah, can you go to, when you check on the last slide, 36 of my presentation, I've given YouTube, which is a comprehensive. I also posted in the chat now. It has all the chapters of Mendeley, so you can cover the A to Z of Mendeley. Software link, yeah, I can put this in the chat.
Yeah, receive the certificate. Thank you.
Yeah, which means that the code is generated. I think the code is already generated. So this is the Mendeley link. So you can use this link to download the Mendeley. So I've just put it now. I think Mendeley and LaTeX. I think LaTeX. I'm not sure. So you can have the files, which is, I think it's a reference management where you can have the PDFs in the Mendeley. But when you want to use the LaTeX file, yeah, you can definitely store it. But there's no link between the Word and the LaTeX integration. I think it is specific to the Word that when you write. So I think it supports PDF a lot. And Celine has already posted the code and the link. You can use it. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just telling to the participants that you can use it. So if you have any questions there, you can post it later. So everything is for the certificate. All the code and the link is already generated. Yeah.
For those who have not registered, they can register now, sir, in the Researchers Academy. It's open.
Yes. Yeah. They can register and download, and if in case they don't find all the presentations, maybe later the day they can check it. Yeah, whatever is available, I have already uploaded. So if something is missing, please try out later.
Okay.
Don't have any question. Any more questions? I think we can
continue the session.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Rubina. Yeah, it was really wonderful to have you all people with us, and thank you, Cecil, sir, for making this happen. It was as soon as I contacted him, he was readily willing to help me out in arranging these persons. First, he was telling that only we'll be addressing 2 sessions from Elsevier. No, I just requested him to put in more of people into the sessions, and it really worked out. And thank you all from Elsevier, Anita ma'am, Kalyani ma'am, and Celine Ruby ma'am, and Mikhail and Cecil sir for putting in all your efforts for your preparing your talks as well as delivering it in a very easy and informative, and it was you were able to reach out to the crowd, like, that's sure. Not only for the researchers, we had many people from faculty and senior researchers also who have logged in from almost all the states from India. So we have only overseas participant also. I think we have some from Iran or Iraq, I don't know. I had seen some from the chat box. So I think you have made it. So whatever you have delivered, surely it should go into and should come out as a good publication. That's what we are also aiming at. We are also motivating our researchers from Chidambaram College also to go in for better publications, and so that we, at the end of the day, we improve the researchers' output also. So I think this webinar is a eye-opener, and it's going to help the researchers a lot. Thank you so much for joining with us for the past 2 days and spending your valuable time. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll keep in touch, and when you are over here, we can have that hands-on training workshop as well.
Sure. Yeah, we can. I can also provide a Mandalay workshop later for your institution, and also people who can also join. By the main motive for this sessions, and we are, as an Elsevier, we are organizing the sessions to connect the Indian researchers to the international research. So I think you need to make use of all the trends and global trends, and also how to write effectively the research papers. So that's the only agenda that we are moving on. And then we are there to support more webinars in the future, and also we are what we are trying to do is sharing our knowledge to the Indian group, that we have a lot of events knowledge that we gained for like 10 years or more, so that we are sharing with the Indian researchers so that they can actually publish and also get a guidance on how to publish in a highly impactful journal. So that's our mission. So I wish all the best for all of your research, and also I hope we will be happy to see all your papers coming through in a highly impacted and cited journals, and also Elsevier's publications. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you, participants, for your participation in the two-day webinar. And we'd like you to subscribe to our VOCC Watch YouTube channel. And also, we'll be having your databases. We'll be conducting a series of programs under the CGC Stripe. And so we'll be contacting you. So we'll keep in touch. And I request all of you to attend in the following webinars also. Thank you so much, participants. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sir. Sir, flight.
என்ன ஒரு ஆளு முகமூடி எல்லாம் போட்டு உட்கார்ந்திருக்கு.
Flightல உட்கார்ந்திருக்காங்க.
எங்க இருக்கீங்க?
சென்னை ஏர்போர்ட் மேடம்.
சென்னை
ஏர்போர்ட்லயா? சரி
சென்னை
சரி.
டு மதுரை flight.
ஓ,
ஓகே ஓகே.
கண்டினியூஸ் ஃபிளைட்டா இறங்கி இறங்குமா?
மேடம்
அங்க இருந்து அப்படியே வரீங்களா? கல்கட்டால இருந்து டைரக்ட் ஃபிளைட்டா?
ஆமா ஆமா. இல்ல சென்னையில
லேயோவர்.
ஓகே சூப்பர். நல்லா இருந்தது செஷன். நான் கேட்டுட்டு தான் இருக்கேன்.
அப்படியா? நல்லா இருந்துச்சு, நடத்தியாச்சு.
ஓகே.
ஜிஎன் சார் தலைமையில நடத்தியாச்சு.
ஐயோ அப்படிலாம் சொல்லாதீங்க, மேம் தலைமையில.
நல்லா போச்சு. இன்னைக்கு பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் நல்லா இருந்தாங்க. 175 இருக்காங்க. Thank you.
For the next session.
Thank you, Pankaj sir.